So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Reaz Rasul, and I lead the hyperscale business for Hewlett Packard Enterprise. We are very excited to be with you today at the Open Compute Summit to share with you our open strategy for infrastructure, as well as our commitment to open compute, and of course, some new product launches that we have coming out today. John Grimala, who's the Senior Director for Product Management, will be joining me in a little bit as we get through some of the material that I want to share with you today. So typically, whenever we talk about what's happening in our solutions and how we are an infrastructure provider and the leading infrastructure provider, we always like to start off with talking about the market. And where we're at today, and I think many of you guys have experienced this, we're seeing a bifurcation happen in the marketplace. As you can see on the left-hand side, there is the need and a huge grouping of customers who are consumers of traditional compute. They are looking for very tight management to control compute, networking, and storage solutions so that they have the ability to run specific workloads on there in the most optimized fashion. Those same customers are looking for the reference architectures that allow them to optimize all of the different functions and variables that they have in their data center. Now, as the market bifurcates, the other piece of the market, which is rapidly growing now, that many of you here are part of and are here to experience over the next couple of days, is the hyperscale side of the market. This part of the market is one that is driven by open principles. It is driven by the need to deploy at extreme scale, so in the thousands and tens of thousands. And of course, it's a market that is very much cost-focused. And as we think about it from HPE's standpoint, we're very excited that we have the ability to be able to service both sides of this market. We actually have solutions in our portfolio that address the traditional compute needs of a large customer base, which includes the products that many of you guys know that are in the ProLiant series, as well as our Superdome series of products. And finally, the new synergy announcement that we had, which allows you to manage separate pools of resources in a very optimized manner. Now, as I talk about the open side, I'm going to spend more of my time today sharing with you the things that are going on and what we're trying to do on the right-hand side of the page. I am very privileged to be the one who gets to lead this business unit that is completely focused on this area of the market. And we have multiple solutions in this area of the market that we'll share with you as we're continuing on through. So first and foremost, I want to spend a couple of moments sharing with you our open infrastructure strategy. The first question that I typically get is that HPE has been a very long-standing company that's been in the compute, storage, and networking market for many years. Why did you guys go down the path of open? And the reality for us is we are always positioning ourselves to deliver business outcomes for our customers. And as a result, we're going to have to follow where the direction of the market is going. And the direction of the market is going towards open. It's going towards open to enable flexibility, to enable choice, also to do many of the other pieces which I described on the chart before around being cost-focused and so on. So as we take a look at our open strategy in general, we've come across four pillars for purposes of this presentation I'll share with you. The first is our open portfolio. As of this week, we actually have 10 products that are inside of our open portfolio, which we're very, very proud of. One of the products we'll be talking about in just a little bit. In addition to the portfolio, we've had a very, very strong commitment to open in terms of how we've engaged the open community. We are a gold OCP member. We have been part of the OCP group for quite a while now, and we did a big launch last year as well, as many of you guys are familiar with. When you take a look at what gives us the capabilities in order to play well in the open space, we're able to leverage our scale. Being the leading compute provider, we have enormous scale, both from a manufacturing perspective as well as supply chain, procurement, and many, many other places. And that scale enables us to design and develop very, very robust solutions for this open marketplace. And finally, the partnerships that we have. We announced about a year and a half ago our partnership in the manufacturing side with Foxconn that's enabled us to develop and deliver CLOUDLINE Open Compute principal products. And so when you take a look at all of those items, those are what really make up our open infrastructure strategy that we are very, very much committed to. And from an outcome perspective, we're expecting that the solutions are more cost effective, they're giving our customers flexibility, as well as driving efficiency. If I spend a moment talking about our commitment to open, as I mentioned, we had a very large launch last year at this summit. In fact, for those of you who were here, we had a pretty unique launch where we had the leader of our organization at that point in time, Alain Andrioli, as well as Fu Mingfu from Foxconn, do an unveil of our first series of open products. We have come a very long way over the course of that time. And as I mentioned, as of this week, we have 10 new products in just the course of a year. In August of 2015, one of our sister business units launched their portfolio of open switches. And as we move into March of 2016 today, we're launching our open storage platforms. This gives us the ability to have products and solutions available across the infrastructure continuum, from compute to networking and now on to storage. And one of the last things I'll mention here related to what we've done is we've actually contributed to the OCP group. And so with that, I'm going to actually ask John Grimaldi to come up to spend a few moments talking to you about our portfolio and the launch that we're doing currently.
Thanks, Reaz. Actually, since we're starting here, aside from spending the last year developing 6 different server platforms and 4 different open networking switches, one of the areas that we've gotten many requests from customers on was cloud storage capabilities. A lot of the largest vendors that are out there are continuing to supply the high demands that there are for large amounts of storage and continue to ask us to push the envelope for that. So we worked with a few of them and actually have been shipping this platform to a very small number of those companies for a while, and are happy to make this available more broadly to the marketplace as well, which is great. This is part of our CLOUDLINE portfolio. Again, a 4U high server. Supports 80 drives internally, 80 3.5-inch large form factor drives, and up to 2 compute nodes within the portfolio. Great density. It does fit in a 1.2 meter rack, which is very common in the service provider arena, but not that common for enterprises. So great new offering, great new capability and capacity. Very easy to go ahead and get access to the drives. Top load drives in terms of capability. Great compute capacity and flexibility as well. 1 server connected to all 80 drives, or 2 servers with 40 drives connected each. So really a case where we're not only doing these kinds of innovations, but we want to make it clear to everybody that we're doing this leveraging a lot of OCP technologies as part of that. So the server that's used in here, number 1, uses an OCP mezzanine in terms of its connectivity, an important baseline in terms of having commonality across the systems that are deployed in data centers. And the motherboard that's actually used in here is also one that was adapted from our OCP server design that Reaz talked about earlier. So a great case where you can leverage the technologies that are there and support the community and provide enhancements on that as well. So great commitment, great overall rollout of our portfolio. We're not only announcing sort of this hardware set of capabilities. Do you have the next slide on scalability? We're also talking about, or excuse me, I'll talk about it here. A partnership we have with Scality to run solutions on top of this as well. So we've got OpenStack support and capabilities. First and foremost, we want to run open solutions on open hardware. From there, we'll go ahead and build and add leading other software providers like Scality on top of that to deliver more capabilities, more leading software on top of those solutions. All right, so aside from this new announcement, we're going to talk about the overall set of capabilities with CLOUDLINE. CLOUDLINE has 3 different product lines that we have as part of it. A year ago, we announced all 3 families. We're happy to finally round out those capabilities with the family, with the multi-node announcements here of the CLOUDLINE CL5200 cloud storage server. We have a line of rack servers, 1U and 2U rack servers. Again, this multi-node server that can have large amounts of storage capacity. And then 2 models of rack scale offerings, the CLOUDLINE CL7100 and the CLOUDLINE CL7300. These are both the 2 different specifications that are available within OCP, variants that are fitting with those specs that have been out and designed either in a 21-inch or a 19-inch open cloud server style of offering. So clearly supporting a lot of those standards here, whether it's technologies or full rack deployments. We've deployed these rack scale offerings to multiple customers across 3 different continents. So very happy to be shipping those in a very large volume across the globe. Next. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
In addition, we're rounding out with 2 additional ALTOLINE networking switches, adding additional network bandwidth options for people. What's great about ALTOLINE is it not only has support for open networking operating systems that run on top of it, we also have support for a processor that's running in the system to go ahead and manage that overall networking gear. So you'll see the different 25 gig and 100 gig offerings that are now available as part of the line, bringing 4 networking products overall with multiple CPU options in terms of how it's configured, and also support for PK8 and Cumulus today, and OpenSwitch will also be added in terms of its capabilities as it gets rolled out. So continuing to foster this capability across each of the major product areas out in the industry. So you think of, we started with compute and rolled that out last year with a lot of our platforms, including a lot of these full rack scale offerings. We went to adding ALTOLINE with networking. Now this cloud storage server that we have available, we're really the only vendor who has a full end-to-end offering of compute, storage, and networking available out to the industry to support this overall and broader open infrastructure directions. We really supported that overall open infrastructure directions last year, where we came out and really started to support and drive that direction, and we'll continue to do that with additional products as we move forward as well.
Great. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to wrap up with the last kind of takeaway message. As we see the market evolution happening and it's rapidly changing, we are very much committed to evolving with the market and addressing the needs of those markets. Now, as we talked about already in the open space, you've heard from John and myself a lot of what we have done in terms of our commitment to open as well as our portfolio around open. And as we are going forward, we're quite excited about the continued investment that we're going to make in this space in order to enable our customers to be successful. So with that, thank you very much. We look forward to hosting all of you at our booth that we have on the show floor, where you can see all of the solutions that John has actually mentioned, and we can have a deeper dialogue. So thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great rest of the conference.